If you're shopping for a laptop, you're probably wondering, should I spend a little extra money on a gaming laptop, or will a regular laptop do the job? Well, today I'll be comparing the 2025 Vivobook S14 with the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14 in full detail. So let's get right into it. And if you enjoy these type of videos, please like and subscribe. Both of these puppies have a sleek, minimalistic design, but the Zephyrus G14 is a little bit flashier. It has this LED slash at the back, which can show remaining battery life or incoming notifications. The Vivobook does look a bit more professional overall, or more boring depending on how you look at it. In terms of size, these two 14-inch laptops are almost identical. They're both the exact same thickness at 1.59 centimeters and are actually very similar in dimensions. But the Zephyrus G14 has a full aluminum body, which makes it a bit heavier than the Vivobook. This also makes it a lot more sturdy though, since the Vivobook does have some plastic parts. The Zephyrus G14 just feels like it's built a bit better overall. This thing is a real tank. And it has the internals of a tank as well. The Zephyrus G14 has a powerful dedicated graphics card, while the Vivobook has the new Intel Ultra 200 chip with a weaker iGPU. I can already tell you that the Zephyrus will be quite a bit faster than the Vivobook. But raw power isn't everything, folks. You might be surprised by how well the Vivobook will do in this video. They both have a great port selection. But since the Vivobook has an Intel chip, it has Thunderbolt 4 on both USB-C ports, so it's a bit better than the Zephyrus G14 in that regard. The Vivobook S14 also comes with a USB-C charger, which is its main way of charging. The Zephyrus G14 supports USB-C charging as well, but it has its own dedicated power connector. The Vivobook's charger is a lot smaller than the power brick that comes with the Zephyrus, but that's to be expected, since the Zephyrus's GPU is a lot more power hungry than on the Vivobook. They both also have great keyboards. You don't see many RGB keyboards on regular laptops, so this is quite unique on the Vivobook. They both have single zone RGB backlights, but the backlight on the Zephyrus G14 gets a lot brighter and it looks a bit more uniform. The keys themselves are very similar in terms of feeling. They're both really satisfying to type on, and I can't really pick a favorite. They both have pretty similar touchpads as well. The one on the Zephyrus G14 feels more premium since it's made of glass, while I'm not sure what the one on the Vivobook is made of. The Zephyrus does require a bit more force to press down on, but it definitely still feels higher quality than on the Vivobook. They both have 14-inch 16x10 OLED displays, which is awesome to see. Unfortunately, the display on the Vivobook is only 60 Hz, so the Zephyrus feels a lot smoother to use since it has a 120 Hz refresh rate. The Zephyrus G14 has an anti-reflective layer over its glossy coating, which handles reflections really quite well. But the Vivobook has, well, nothing, so it suffers a lot from reflections. I would not really recommend this laptop if you use it near a window a lot. The Vivobook's display actually gets a bit brighter than the Zephyrus, but I don't really notice a difference. And they both have gorgeous OLED panels, which means amazing colors, contrast, and vibrancy. The Vivobook does have a slightly worse display hinge though. They both have a little bit of display wobble, but only the Vivobook wobbles while you're typing on it a bit hard, which can be pretty annoying. But the Vivobook's display can go back a full 180 degrees, while the Zephyrus doesn't go back that far. For the speaker test, it should be pretty obvious which one is better. The Vivobook speakers are quite good for its price. But it gets absolutely destroyed by the Zephyrus G14. The G14 has more bass, more clarity, it gets louder, and it has surround sound. It also has top-firing speakers and subwoofers on the bottom, while the Vivobook only has some small speakers at the bottom. The Zephyrus G14 has the best speakers in its class, so this is really no surprise. Now here's a quick camera and microphone sample. This is a microphone audio test on the Asus Vivobook S14. This is a microphone audio test on the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14. Now let's see some raw performance by running a couple of benchmarks. In Cinebench R23, the Zephyrus easily beats the Vivobook in both single core and multi-core. It isn't even close. The same goes for 3D Mark Time Spy, where the Vivobook's iGPU doesn't stand a chance against the G14's dedicated RTX 4070. To test some real-world performance, I exported the same Premiere Pro project on both of them and timed which one is faster. The Zephyrus G14 was more than twice as fast as the Vivobook. Now, I know the Vivobook is not a gaming laptop, but it can run games, so I really want to see how it compares to an actual gaming laptop.
You motherfucker, you man. Huh?
Go
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mate, I fucking just dropped into the shit show. Oh my god! I literally dropped onto one of them fucking tanks, oh man.
Sending in an eagle!
Dat bestaat helemaal niet. Ik weet niet als een hond die verdrinkt.
So yeah, obviously, the gaming laptop beats the regular laptop by quite a lot in terms of performance. I mean, this is like comparing a motorcycle to an electric bike. The Zephyrus G14 has almost 3 times more power to work with, and it has a dedicated GPU that does all the heavy lifting. But the Vivobook actually performed really well despite its lack of power. I mean, I remember a time when an iGPU meant you couldn't even run Minecraft. Yeah, I'm pretty old. And now you can kind of run AAA games on this tiny thing. And while it's very impressive how much performance you can squeeze out of such a tiny body, it still doesn't even compare to a fully fledged gaming laptop. But here's where the Vivobook uses its trap card: battery life. It has Intel's new Ultra 200 CPU, which is very efficient. And that efficiency is pretty apparent in the following test. I left a YouTube video playing on both of them with their displays at 500 nits brightness, at 60 Hz, with the performance profiles on silent. The Zephyrus G14 lasted almost 10 hours, which is very impressive for a gaming laptop. But it got beat hard by the Vivobook S14, which lasted almost 13 hours. The Vivobook lasts a lot longer during intensive tasks as well, so this is definitely the better choice if you use your laptop on the road a lot. Now, less power draw also means less heat and less noise. The Zephyrus G14 is quite a bit louder than the Vivobook S14. And the Vivobook also stayed a lot cooler than the Zephyrus G14, since it doesn't need to get rid of 180 watts worth of heat. This is pretty handy for if you don't want the sound of a jet engine taking off in the middle of your exams. The Vivobook really sucks in terms of upgradeability though. It only has one M.2 slot and literally nothing else. The Zephyrus G14 isn't much better, but you can at least replace its Wi-Fi card if you want to. Both of them have soldered RAM unfortunately, which is pretty disappointing. Now these two laptops are not in the same price range. The Vivobook S14 costs around $800, while the Zephyrus G14 is more than double that. The Vivobook does have a more expensive model with the Ultra 7 and 32GB of RAM, which puts them a bit closer together, but the Zephyrus G14 is simply more expensive 99% of the time. So, conclusion time. Which one of these should you get? Well, it really depends on what you're looking for in a laptop. The Zephyrus G14 is an absolute beast for its size, and is one of the best laptops of the year. But not everybody needs that kind of power. Probably 90% of all people that need a laptop just use it for basic web browsing or editing documents in Microsoft Word. So which one is better for you? Well, if you want to play heavy games on your laptop or run a lot of intensive applications, for example if you're a graphics design student, get the Zephyrus G14. But if you run mostly basic programs, or if you're a student, get the Vivobook S14. The Zephyrus G14 does have a better build quality, speakers, display, and more power. But if you're just going to use your laptop for school or for work, you probably don't need any of that stuff. And more battery life is probably a lot more important. These are some pretty good points, but you need to weigh those points for yourself, since everybody's needs are different. So obviously, choose what's best for you. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.